Hi Ed, Bill Ross here. Well, happy 100th. Wow, 100. A lot of the other folks who are going to be on this production have known you for quite a while, and I unfortunately have not. I guess we only knew one another for 5 or 6 years. But during that time I was overwhelmed by your generosity, your intellect, and your willingness to help on just about anything that came up. I especially relished the times we spent together going to and from the society. We both lived in the same neighborhood, although I didn't know you for that long. So stay healthy, the best of luck, and we have to start planning now on what to do for the 125th. Happy birthday and be well.
Congratulations and best wishes, Ed. Just a reminder, you left Nashua in 2000, just before our class reunion. We missed you so much, we never had another one. I have a message also from Rosemary Keefe Suddish. I think you might remember her. She taught at the high school for a while, I think, when you were there, when you were principal. I think before you were superintendent. Happy birthday, Ed. The entire Keough family sends its greetings for this wonderful event and also thanks you for your contributions to Nashua and to its school system. So many students have succeeded in life because you helped to provide the opportunity. My parents, Andrew and Mary Keough, had great respect for you and your efforts. Many more birthdays to you. As I said, from Rosemary Keefe Suddish.
Hi Ed, imagine you getting to be 100 years old. Remember me? I'm Marvis Mellon. You were superintendent of schools when I was in high school, and we were active in the Historical Society for a long period of time. I'm sitting here with Frank.
Ed, it's nice to be talking to you again, and I hope you have many more birthdays. We really miss you here in Nashua. We miss your counsel and your wise advice that you always gave us, and we hope to maybe someday see you.
But if we don't see you, we're at least talking to you, and we have very fond memories of your activities here at the Historical Society. As Frank says, you were someone that gave us wonderful advice. I remember when I retired from work, and I was so devastated to be just sitting around that I became treasurer here for 5 years. And we were very active during the bicentennial. And I even brought a picture along. I have a picture that sits on our refrigerator, and it's a picture of you and Frank during the bicentennial years, so that's 30 years ago, and a picture of the coins that Frank designed. And look at how young and handsome you look here. And you must have been 70 at the time.
We hope that you have many more happy birthdays.
Hello, Ed. I'm Sandra Axton. I first met you as a student at Nashua High, graduating from high school in 1956 with your son, Miles. I next met you in the spring of 1960 when you interviewed me for a job, and then I went to work as a teacher at junior high. I was one of those teachers that you observed. You came into my room, sat in the back of the room, and the boy next to you said, "Hey, mister, you got a pencil I can use?" And this first year teacher was ready to crawl under the desk. On behalf of my class, 1956, and all of us who worked with you in the Nashua School District, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ed. It's good to be here. Good luck to you. God bless.
Hello, Ed. Happy birthday, and on your 100th birthday. This is Frank Mooney. I'm sure you can recognize me, class of 50, and you probably had most of my kids in school as well, and my brother Tom as well. You always used to tell me what my kids' names were, so I'm sure you remembered, and maybe still do. I was going through some of my material here, and I come up with the Tutsatala for 1950, and there you are in the front page with your picture. I was also reminiscing quite a bit about the different reunions that we've had. And here is the cover sheet for the reunion that we had in 1990 of the 1950 graduating class from Nashua High School. I've also been reminiscing quite a bit about the fun that we had with the fourth graders here at the museum, and with all of the kids running around here and come in by the busloads. And if you remember correctly, we used to pay to have the buses pick up these kids from the different schools, and they would come here, always the fourth grade, to teach them a little bit about Nashua history. You and I were probably the two guides that probably worked the most at it and had the most fun. God bless you, and happy birthday again.
Oh, good afternoon, Ed. This is B. Michelle Cadwell, class of 1930. And I think you arrived just about a year or two before I graduated from high school. I don't remember intervening years because we didn't see each other very much. But during the last few years here as a volunteer, and me volunteering too for the school children, I remember you, and what a nice time we had taking the fourth graders around through the Historical Society. So, I hope you're feeling well, and I'm right behind you, 95, creeping up on you. Have a good day, Ed, and happy birthday again.
Hi Ed, Bernie Pastor, wishing you a very happy 100th birthday, and I wish that you would be in Nashua for our reunion, or wish you were in Nashua when we had our reunion, but we missed you, and we just want to wish you all the very best.
Hi Ed, Selma Pastor. I remember you mostly from the school board. I wasn't around when you were in Bernie's class, or when you were teaching in the high school. You were a superintendent when I was here. I just wish you many, many more happy birthdays, and want you to know that not too much has changed as far as the school board is concerned. Still the same problems, still the same arguments.
Hi, Mr. Keefe. I'm Dean Shalhoub. I work for the Nashua Telegraph. You probably recognize the name. You were a contemporary of my father's, he worked at the paper in the 50s and through the 70s, and I'm sure he took your photo more than once. I spoke with you on the phone about 5 years ago from your home in California, and I enjoyed our chat. And I'm pleased to be part of this video today, wishing you a happy birthday. I went to Spring Street and graduated from Nashua High in '72, and I think that's about the time you were retiring from being superintendent. Well, we, again, wish you a happy 100th birthday, and enjoy.
Hi Ed, this is Laura Eanes, and I hope you remember me because you're the reason that I got involved with the Historical Society, along with Faith Flythe. I had no idea who you were. I used to come down and stand behind a screen in the education room and do things for Faith. And you kept coming in on Wednesdays followed by all these little fourth graders. And you did look like you were having a lot of fun. And you kept saying, well, why don't you join us? Why don't you come and be a guide for the fourth graders? And eventually I said yes. And I had no idea that I was going to be doing it for so long, but I did enjoy it thoroughly. I was trying to think of what I remember about the Historical Society and you, and I remember you showed me around. I'm standing in the military room, and one of the things that you showed me was the Spanish-American medical kit with the bone saw, which all the fourth graders thoroughly enjoyed, and the gun, left in a tree for a year while the people who were kidnapped by Indians went to Canada, and then they came back and found the gun in the military room. It was one of the big highlights. when I wanted to get a job, I decided for some unknown reason I should be a substitute in the junior high. And I still didn't realize how much influence you had, because I put your name down with your permission as one of my references. And when I went into the junior high to be interviewed, the first thing he said very gruffly was, "And how do you know Ed Keefe?" Because I think he thought I got your name out of the newspaper. Turns out that when I explained about the Historical Society and we chit-chatted, that's all we talked about. He pretty much said, "Well, if Ed Keefe likes you, I like you, that's it, you're hired." I only lasted 2 years as a substitute junior high teacher. I have the greatest respect for all those years you spent as a teacher. I could only do 2 years. I can't imagine how you did it that much longer. One of the things I remember about the Historical Society was I wound up in charge of getting the cake when they dedicated the auditorium. We bought you a cake, and I gave them written orders. I picked it up, I brought it to the auditorium. Fortunately, in plenty of time, because when I took the top off, it was a cake for Edward O. Keefe. So I had to find somebody with something small enough I could pick the wrong stuff off the icing. I had to pick off most of Edward, and of course the O and the apostrophe on the O. Keefe, and smear all the chocolate icing around all the places where I made gouges. But you were at least very nice enough, you were nice enough to tell me that you were always an O'Keefe, even if you really were just a Keefe. So when they told me that you were 100 and that they were doing this, I said, I have to come down and say hello and say congratulations on your birthday. And I am delighted that you turned me on to the Historical Society. Thank you, and happy birthday.
Hello, Mr. Keefe. If you're wondering what I'm doing in the Nashua Historical Society, I have a good reason. I remember the story when you used to conduct tours here, and one time you were taking a bunch of school kids around and talking about the 1920s and 1930s, and one of the kids piped up and said, "Hey man, just how old are you, 100 years old?" Well, that kid was only slightly ahead of his time. I'm glad you are 100, and I'm glad I knew you for about, 1/8 of the time at least. And I'm glad we used to save the world at the Guskirkas driveway. But I wanted to tell you one other thing, and I don't want you to do a double take, because as of today, I'm a card-carrying member of the Nashua Historical Society. So this might be the beginning of the end. I hope not. Happy birthday again. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and I'll see you later this summer. Bye.